for me.
Love you.
Aw, thanks. I love you too.
Hey guys, it's Ghost Queen, and today I'm continuing with my series, 13 Reasons Why, where I talk about certain people in the paranormal I recommend and certain people I think you should be a little bit wary of. Now, this series went on pause for me for a long time because when I chose the title of the series, it was just sort of in jest, it was trying to make a point. But then we lost somebody in our community, and it suddenly seemed a lot more serious. So this isn't a video I particularly relish making, but it's appropriate for this series. So today I'm going to be spotlighting Zara Hilton and Glenn Miller. Now, you all know that Scary Larry Moses, passed away. And since his passing, I've become friendly with his daughter, Raquel. And, I consider her a good friend of mine now. So I'm going to be recounting the story to the best of my recollection. If I get something wrong, sue me. I'm going to remember it the best that I can. So, I used to often go into Larry's chats, and Larry and I were friends. And there was a gentleman who used to come into his chats by the name of Michael. I didn't really know Michael. I never talked to him privately. He said that he had a couple of dogs. I remember him talking about walking his dogs. I remember him saying he lived in the South in an old plantation home that was haunted. And about this time that Michael started coming into Larry's chats, people that I didn't get along with were also going into Larry's chats, and I started sort of backing out. And I went in less and less. But I did chat with Michael a few times in Larry's chat. Now, I don't know who Michael was. I don't know if Glenn was pretending to be Michael. I know Glenn has impersonated people before. I don't know. I don't have proof of that, and I'm not going to lie about anything. I do know that Glenn and Zara were modding for Larry, and, they had become tight with him. And then the next thing I heard was that this Michael individual had hooked up with Ghost Adventures, and Ghost Adventures was going to come shoot an episode at this guy Michael's haunted southern home. And I wasn't following super closely, but I guess the gist of it was Michael had invited Glenn, Zara, and Larry to come to the shooting of the episode. I think that's what was happening. I really can't remember all the details, but I'm pretty sure that was what was supposed to happen. All I know is Larry was really excited about it. I was really happy for him. We were all happy for him. And, I just I always had a feeling Larry never took his work super seriously. He didn't think he was anyone important or that he was making an impact. And I totally don't think that's true. And so I saw this as a great opportunity for Larry. And I was really happy for him. And, after that, I wasn't really around that much. But I know at one point I eventually saw Larry make a video saying, I guess that he thought that he couldn't reach this Michael person, or I don't know. Something happened where Larry started to think maybe it wasn't going to happen. And he may have even said at one point that he didn't think he could go because of his illnesses. And, he was a little disabled. All I know is at some point it seemed like everything turned around and it wasn't going to happen anymore. Okay? if anybody else remembers details, feel free to comment. But this is how I remember it. And after that, it did seem like, Larry just kind of got a little bit more bummed out, and he wasn't streaming as much or posting videos as much. It was very infrequent after that. And I imagine that was a huge disappointment for him, So, I don't know. But, and then suddenly I remember Larry, he made a video talking about how he had seen his friend that had passed. He saw his friend's spirit. And I got nervous then. And then it was only days later, I think, that I heard that, Larry had passed. So I have asked Raquel if it's okay to share this, and she said it was. Larry did take his own life. Now, if you knew Larry like I knew Larry, Larry had been talking for a long time about wanting to die. He had. He was in a lot of pain. He was having trouble coping with the pain. He was having trouble coping with the lack of mobility. He was having lots of issues with his body, bleed outs and all this shit going on, and, he was feeling done. It was hard to cope with all his problems and ailments and, injuries and sicknesses. And, he had just gotten to a point where he felt ready to go, I guess. And I saw it a good probably 2 years prior, which is why I used to try to check up on him a lot. So Larry did take his own life, and I don't judge. I think anybody has the right to do that if they so choose. So that doesn't bother me, especially if you're elderly and you have problems and you're not happy and comfortable in your life. But the thing that concerns me is that after Larry passed and I became friendly with Raquel and we became better friends and we started talking more and more, she told me that people had been trying to scam Larry for money. Now, anybody who knew Larry knew he didn't have a lot of money. He had to ask for help with that chair. So why anyone would think he had money is beyond me in the first place. You would think if you were going to scam someone for money, you'd at least go for somebody who had some fucking money. But no, and so I guess the consensus of opinion is that the whole Ghost Adventures thing was just a big scam. And it was a scam to try to get Larry's bank and financial information somehow. I don't know all the details. But Zara Hilton's name was on bank papers of Larry's related to this, is what I've been told. So I can't help but wonder if Larry maybe, if that helped him to even want to go sooner, because he was ashamed and humiliated and hurt that somebody he considered a friend was trying to scam money from him. So yeah, I felt this was a really serious accusation, and I didn't want to put it out there unless I felt really sure. And I wanted to see the proof. And I have to be honest and say I haven't seen the proof, but that I trust Raquel enough to know that the proof exists. And I know why she can't show me the proof, because it will incriminate someone else and make their job at risk. And she can't do that because it's a friend of hers. So I get it. So I want to make something perfectly clear. I don't want anybody trying to contact Raquel. If you have questions, if you're angry, if you have hate, I want it all to come to me. All of it. Okay? No one is to go near Raquel. But I will say that Glenn Miller set me up once before. I have experience with that. And when I saw Glenn and Zara get together, I was like, oh shit, that's a bad mix. Those two. That's what I thought. And sure enough, I don't know how anybody could do something like that to Larry. He was such a nice man. He was so helpful. He was so loving and such a good friend to everyone. To everyone. Not just to me, to everyone. He was a nice, good man. Why anyone would want to try to steal from him is beyond me. He didn't have that much. So, yeah. I've known about this since really right after Larry passed. I've kept it under my hat. I haven't said a word about it until just a couple of weeks ago. I did comment something to both of their YouTube pages because I was just in a mood and pissed and feeling uppity about it. But it took me a while to make this video because I don't take pleasure in doing this, but I don't want to see anybody else get hurt or ripped off or, you know, committing suicide because they've been so hurt and ashamed and humiliated. You know, every action has a reaction. Every decision has a consequence. You have to think of it like dropping a rock in a pond, and there's ripple effects. So you have to be mindful of what you do in the world, your words and your thoughts and your actions. I've seen a lot of ugly things in the paranormal. Ugly things. You know, some of us, we just wanted to prove that spirit continues on when the body dies. That was our main goal. That was my main goal. I don't even know what my goal is anymore. But I thought I proved it. I think Shannon proved it. I think Wayne proved it. I think many of us have. Some people will just never believe, no matter how much proof they get. But I think it's been proven. And in that light, why does it make people want to be a better person? That I don't understand. But that's it. That's pretty much the size of it. As I say, no one is to approach the family about this. And if any of it's wrong, then it's my fault. And you're to come to me. But this is the story as I understand it. And there's plenty of ways to make money. You don't have to rip people off. It's just not a way to do it. So that's it. That's all I've got. You know, I still can't talk about Larry. I just can't. So that's it. Love you guys. Kiss your loved ones. Tell them everything you want to say, because you never know which day is your last day or theirs. And until next time, I bid you adieu.